Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Jakks Pacific The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Link and Zelda. I figured I'd do them both in one video because they're relatively small figures. There's not going to be a ton to talk about. They're not that involved, but I wanted to get them both done, so we're going to do it in one, save you guys some time. Surprisingly good figures coming in at a price point of $10 and some change. She fell down. That's mostly my fault. I kind of didn't balance her properly. I thought she was leaning against Link and she wasn't. Anyway, $10 basically for these figures. They're pretty impressive for that price. So let's go ahead and get them off the stand and take a closer look. Okay, we're going to start with Link here. He stands just about 5 inches. There's a little bit of hair above that. So scaling purposes, he's closer to 4 3/4 inches. So it's a little bit smaller than your typical Figma. It's about 13 centimeters to the very top of the hair. So he's a little bit smaller than what you might already have in, say, a Smash Brothers collection. But that's probably okay. I'm willing to bet he could use to be a little bit shorter for scaling purposes in that Smash collection. And you get him in the Breath of the Wild outfit. So if you want that, you could definitely fudge this into that collection. Now we'll go ahead and do ZELDA's height. She is roughly, we'll say 12.5 centimeters to the top of the hair, so about a half a centimeter shorter, and we'll say 5 7/8 to the top of the hair, scaling purposes. There you go. She's just a touch shorter than long. All right, let's go ahead and do a question of the day. Which version of Link is your favorite game-wise? Not from this game, because I know we had like a million different costumes in that game. Like, this is the costume from that game that I'm referring to. So pick a game where his main costume is your favorite. For me, it has to be the OOT. It has to be Ocarina of Time. The white pants underneath, that whole look is just perfect for me. So that's the one I like the most. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the aesthetic. Again, $11 figure. It's covered in detailed paintwork. So don't tell me that Hasbro can't put more paint on their Marvel Legends. This is a $10 figure. I don't care what kind of Marvel licensing fees or anything else is going on with those figures that cost 2.5 times this. It has more paint than like a whole wave of Marvel Legends. Look at the arm. The detailed paintwork on there is so good. The white all over the shirt, that's very nice. All the belts and buckles are painted. It's not the cleanest paint ever, but it's all there. Different colors. We have light brown, dark brown, 3 different color browns. All the detailed paintwork is in there. His gauntlet thingy, arm protector, earrings, hairband. It's even carried around onto the back. His leg tattoo, no. He's painted really well. They painted the bottom of the boots, the cuffs of the boots. It's really well done. Is it the best thing in the world? No, it's an $11 figure, but it's incredibly well done for that price. Sculpt-wise too, by the way. I don't know if you noticed while we were looking at it, everything is sculpted nicely. There's clothing wrinkles everywhere. There's little seams on the pants. All the detail work sculpted into his gloves and his wrist thingy. All the buckles and things. The face is sculpted well. The hair is sculpted well. It's exactly what it should be for the price. It's better than it should be for the price point. It's better than it has any right to be at this price point. $26 figure, reusing all kinds of parts. By the way, this is all new sculpt. Virtually zero paint. Loads of paint. And the articulation's almost the same. It's not quite, but $11. It's nuts. Alright, let's look at ZELDA. Yes, I keep changing her name because some of you might know the reference, some of you might not, but that's okay. Her name is Zelda, by the way. I do know. She looks pretty good. I think her face is a little bit less good than Link's. Her eyes are a little bit iffy looking. But it's going to be passable again for a $10 figure. We do have a lot of paint work and sculpt work going on in her outfit. Very, very detailed. Looks very nice. Stitching and whatnot. Little knuckle things. Her pouch. That band going around her waist is painted really well and it goes all the way around. Her boots have little details on them. It's nuts. It's nuts how much better these look than like your average Marvel Legends figure that comes in at $26. That is crazy to me. These look wonderful. So sculpt-wise, aesthetics-wise, for the price point, 10 out of 10. For the price point, which means I'm factoring in that it's not going to be perfect at that price. 10 out of 10. I would never expect anything more on a figure that's $11 or $10. These are wonderfully sculpted and painted. Now, as far as accessories go, Lonk gets the Soldier's Sword. I think that's what it's called. It's definitely not the Master Sword, which is a weird choice, so maybe they're going to release another one later with a Master Sword, which is a good way to get people to buy more. I will do it. They're only $10, what the heck. And then Zelda gets her Tablet of Doom. I cannot remember what it's called. I looked it up specifically so I wouldn't forget it in the video, and I still forgot it. It is her Tablet of Doom. Yeah, I don't remember what it's called. I don't know why I can never remember it. Anyway, she has that. Link, by the way, has little tabbies right here. Little hooks built into his belt. And she has them back here, built into her waist. They don't really work though. Like technically it can kind of wedge on there a little bit, but not really, so that's a bit disappointing. But accessory wise, I think that's fine for the price point. You don't need alternate hands and stuff, so I'll go whatever, 7 out of 10, it's reasonable. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the articulation. I want to do Zelda first. That way you guys don't tune out after I'm finished with Link. Alright, so her head is on a ball peg. A little bit of wiggle, a little bit of rotation. Her hair is big, somewhat flexible. So she can rotate around pretty well. That should be good enough, I think. Alright, that should be alright. Looking up and down, you're not going to get a bunch. It is a ball peg though. Shoulders, better than horizontal, so that works nicely. You're going to get your full rotation. That's fine. No bicep swivel, which is very disappointing. Link does have that, so I think she should too, but she doesn't. Double jointed elbow. Hasbro says they can't be done. This figure is much smaller than a Marvel Legends, and she has her double jointed elbow. I know Hasbro didn't say they can't be done, but they had a bunch of excuses for the longest time. In this figure, it's not exactly hideous, and it works just fine. Wrists have a hinge and a swivel, so her gripping hinge is horizontal. This hand is just kind of an open hand, horizontal hinge. Waist is a ball peg, but it's really just a waist twist. It's unfortunate because they built them with a ball peg, so you could have just made it functional. Make it like a diaphragm joint, as you would see in most other lines, but do it in the lower waist, and it would have been way more functional than just twist, so that's kind of unfortunate. Hips are ball pegs. Her hips are not very functional. Not even a full 45 degrees out to the side going forward. There's no flex in her diaper area, so she has very little range going forward and virtually no range going back. No real thigh swivel. Double jointed knee, which is fine at the top, but then some craziness is going on down here. Don't know what they were thinking. That knee is nuts. That's so weird. Don't use that. If she's just standing there, she looks okay. Ankles are on ball pegs. They have decent enough range. They'll give you enough to have her balance and stand, no problem. That's why I said in the beginning that was my fault. I just kind of threw her up there. I was going to do Link separate in his own video, but then I was like, nah, we'll do them both. So I didn't really try to get her to stand. Toe hinge is decent. Not great, but decent. So perfectly reasonable for this figure. Her articulation's fine. I'll give it a 7. And then his articulation is largely the same, but slightly better. His ball peg for his neck gives him virtually no wiggle, no real up or down. It's going to just be a rotation, so that's okay. Shoulders have full rotation like that, out to the side, better than horizontal, so that's good. You do get a bicep swivel underneath his sleeve, which is very nice. Love that. Double jointed elbow gives him the full range. Love that. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge. Both hands basically are gripping hands. And this one has a trigger finger on it, so I'm guessing he is going to come with a bow at some point also, even though he wouldn't really have a trigger finger, it works. So I'm guessing we're going to see different releases of these guys with different accessories. Just a hunch. But yeah, they both have horizontal hinges, which is kind of annoying. His waist, also a ball peg, but really just a swivel that doesn't work well, so that kind of blows. His hips have better range, not by a ton, but enough. It's better than 45, so that's okay. You can see the ball peg in there. Definitely could use a little bit of a rework. They didn't need to cut the range out so far. That's unfortunate. Going forward, the tunic gets in the way a little bit, but it's not bad. It's decent enough. Going back, you don't really have any range. You do get a proper thigh swivel cut into the leg, so it's another point he has that Zelda doesn't have. Double jointed knee works just fine on this guy. No problems there. And then for his ankle, it's a ball peg. Again, it has enough range. It's not the best thing in the world, but give it a little bit of force and you'll be able to get him to at least stand in a decent pose with his feet flat on the floor. And then he has a toe hinge in the right spot. It's a little loose, but it's okay. So I should bump Zelda up to an 8 for the price point. She's an 8, and Link here is a 9. The waist could be a lot better. The hips could be a lot better, so that's why he's not a 10. But again, we're talking about a $10 price point. These, or 11, 10, it was like 1060 maybe? 1080, I don't remember. whatever. Yeah, so articulation-wise, they're fine. Overall, final verdict on these figures. If you are at all inclined to get some Zelda figures, Legend of Zelda, not just her, do it. They are a steal for the price point. They make almost everything Hasbro puts out for $1,000 and has no paint and no unique sculpt look ridiculous. These are so good for what you're paying for them. 26. You can buy both of these completely original sculpts, full of paint, full of sculpt, some accessory, at least per figure, one accessory. $22. This figure right here, $26. It makes no sense. I'm going to give these guys a 9.9 out of 10 for the price point. Pick them up if you're at all inclined. I found them at Walmart. I don't know if BBTS has them. If they do, that would be convenient because Walmart, good luck with stock. But yeah, that's where I found them. All right, there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.